Find Haunt Squad on all your favorite social media sites. Facebook.com/Haunt Squad. Twitter @Haunt Squad. Instagram at Instagram.com/Haunt_Squad. And search us on YouTube. Haunt Squad.
Why you wearing a mask? Were you burned by acid or something like that?
Oh, no, it's just they're terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be wearing them in the future.
In a world filled with supernatural phenomena, 3 explorers of the unknown answer the real questions concerning the field of paranormal investigation. Vinny Gomez, Natalie Jane, and Mike Wolfer guide you to the depths of paranormal studies, creepy movies, games, and comics, and more from the world of horror and geek culture. Turn out the lights, turn on your EMF detector, and prepare yourself for the Haunt Squad podcast.
Ha! Guess what? What? Guess what this episode's about?
Alice Cooper.
Petunias.
No, but you know what?
What?
Like 2 weeks ago was Alice Cooper's birthday.
No way.
Well, he actually, I mean, if you guys don't know where we're going with this, that was Alice Cooper, the song "Man Behind the Mask."
That's cool. Yeah.
He just turned 68. Can you believe that?
Not really, no.
68.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, this one's our main topic: masks.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
We all wear masks.
Yeah. But before we get to that,
I'm Vinny.
I'm Mike.
I'm Natalie.
We are Haunt Squad,
We
taking
are.
you through the world of the paranormal, comics, horror, and anything else in geek culture. Welcome.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm doing really good.
Okay.
I'm great.
Yeah.
Good and busy.
Yeah, I hear you're really busy, so that's a good thing, I guess.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty good.
Busy's good. You know, according to all the hype that we put out there about us,
Yeah.
when we talk about ourselves, and we're paranormal investigators and blah, blah, blah. And all we do is talk about horror movies, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But, Vinny, I understand, speaking of the paranormal, you were telling me, and you haven't told me the story yet, so
No.
I'm dying to hear it.
Yeah.
Something weird happened to you recently?
Well, you know what? It's funny you bringing that up.
Well, not really.
Oh.
But it's in the show notes.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. Let me switch back over to my show notes here.
Yeah. What's up?
Well, you know, I wanted to get your opinion on this. A couple nights ago, we had the kids go to bed. Kids go to bed around 7:30. Yes. My wife and I go to bed between 8 and 8:30.
Oh
Just
my
because I know
crap.
because of my work schedule.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, that's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get ready for bed, and we normally turn the TV on for a few minutes, and we'll watch a little TV while you know, Paula falls asleep first because, you know, she's like an animal. She just, no worries. She goes right to sleep. Me, on the other hand, I'm sitting there, okay, what bills do we have to pay?
Yeah.
The house is dark. We have the bathroom coming out of our room in the main hall. So the kids use that bathroom, and then we have our master bathroom in our room. So our door faces the hallway inside the bathroom, which is to the, we'll say, left of the door. We have a nightlight on. So the kids, when they get up in the middle of the night, they can see the room. They go right in, go to the bathroom.
Right.
The kids were asleep, and I got into bed, and I look, and I see a kid walking down the hallway. It obscured the light and went into the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I said, Paula, is Angel or Sammy up? She goes, no. She goes, I just checked on them. They were both snoring. She goes, they were sleeping. So I yell out, guys? No answer. So I get that chill down my back, and I'm like, Paula, there's nobody out there. She goes, well, I'm not going to check. You go check. So I go out there, I check, and there was nobody there. It was definitely a child walking down the hallway. I could see it. The door was open just enough that I could see the shadow of the child. It obscured the light so that it looked like it passed in front of the nightlight. The light actually goes off if you turn on the light. So it passed, the light went off, and then came back on as if somebody walked past it. I went out there creeping out, you know, it just freaked me out. Nothing was there. I checked on the kids. They were both still snoring.
Weird.
So I really don't know what this could have been. What do you think it
Well,
could
naturally, I
have
have to ask, you were not asleep yet?
No.
Yeah.
been? No. We had just
Because a
gone.
lot of times
Yeah.
people experience
You
that.
weren't drinking.
No.
Well, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when we were, I don't know if it happened when we were interviewing you. Sorry, when we were interviewing you before we did the investigation here
Mhm.
a few years ago. You did bring up a story about how someone else was sleeping over here,
Mhm.
another boy, and he claims to have seen something.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. He was scared because he thought he saw a kid.
Okay.
So, yeah. I've never seen it, so I always thought that maybe they're kids. So, they're scared, big house, that kind of thing. But when I saw it, I was like, maybe there's something to it. My son said when we first moved into this place that he got up to go to the bathroom one night and the lights were on downstairs near the kitchen and all the cabinets were open. And there was a woman taking stuff in and out of the cabinets. Again, I didn't believe him, but he's also been the one that when we were at our old house, he said that he had seen a kid, a young adult, in a red T-shirt and a hat and jeans, and sitting in his room talking to him.
Yeah, yeah.
I just told him, listen, you were probably dreaming, this, that, and the other. But, you know, could it have been real? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
I mean, I would hate to say, put up some motion detectors or, just something to capture because it seems like it happens so very rarely that you might be just kind of spinning your wheels for a while, but...
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm afraid to do an investigation on my own here. I don't want to bring anything up. We've already done one.
Maybe we need to come back here.
Well,
if you're comfortable with
I'm
that.
more than comfortable with that. I just don't want to do it on my own because, again, it's only me. So anything I hear, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
At least if there was somebody else here who was in the same mode.
Yeah, you need a second set of eyes and ears.
Exactly. But, it really,
Well,
I was not.
That's crazy.
It's weird because Natalie experienced something very similar
a
week or two ago.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago. It was late, probably near about 1 a.m. Mike and I were ready for bed. We're laying in bed, and all of a sudden, all 3 of the cats that sleep with us freak out. Echo, Nix, and Freya. They all jump on the bed. Echo is growling. So I'm just thinking, someone pulling up in front of the house. Is maybe someone taking a late night jog or walking their dog because they'll do that. But they weren't in the window. They were on the bed, and Echo was looking out toward the hallway. She was looking at the bedroom door. So right away we're thinking, maybe Ringo's out there, eating or something, or he's just messing around by the door because he does that sometimes.
Yeah. He'll sit outside the door and stick his foot under. And yeah.
Yeah, but normally the cats will play with him then, run over there.
Yeah.
None of them are running over by the door. They just stayed on the bed, and Echo is just continuing to growl, and Nix and Freya are just looking in that direction as well. So it goes on for about a minute. I said, you know what? I'm just going to get up and go out and see. So I open the door and turn on the light. Nothing. I go down the hallway and look down the stairs into the living room, and there's Lincoln and Ringo sound asleep.
Yeah. They
Okay.
didn't hear anything.
No. And Lincoln's a barker, so if something was going on, he'd be alert.
So she turned around, and standing in the hallway behind her was Sam from Trick or Treat.
And he gave me a lollipop. We're buddies. Okay, so yeah, I go back in the room, turn off the light, and I also checked in our other room. Chantico, she is an only child when it comes to sleeping. She wants her own room. She's cool like that. She was sound asleep as well, so she wasn't messing around in there. All right, so I go back.
Her full name is Goddammit Chantico.
It is. This girl is my stalker. Nix is my stalker. Chantico is my stalker. I turn around and I almost fall to my death. And God damn it, Chantico! So I go back in the room, shut the door.
My name is Goddammit Chantico. Anyhow, sorry.
So turn the light off, shut the door, get back in bed, and they're all still on alert. Well, now I see that Echo is now also looking in our bathroom. Now Mike's laying down. He's tired. He wants no part of this. And I'm like, Mike, she's looking in the bathroom. All of a sudden I hear a ting ting.
I heard that.
Mike heard it too. It could have been water. We have a shower in there,
Who
so
knows?
then sometimes it leaks. But then I heard something else again, and all the cats, their attention was drawn to the bathroom.
Now, when an animal is scared or on high alert like that, cats have generally, they don't give a F about anything.
Yeah.
They're very casual, just whatever.
Right.
But when you can see it, in their eyes and in their demeanor and the body language.
I mean, I would have ignored it if it wasn't for the cats.
That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Echo didn't growl anymore, but they were just all staring back and forth from the hallway to the bathroom. And we have 2 windows in the bathroom, and the shades were down. But you can see from the outside the street lights, and there's like a orange glow in the bathroom. All of a sudden, I see a flash of light, white light. And I'm thinking, it's a car coming down the street. Plus, we have a cul-de-sac, so when it turns around, no car. I'm like, Mike, there was just a flash of light. About 20, 30 seconds later, all of a sudden, the light, something was in front of that window, blocked out the light entirely. So it was like black for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 seconds. And I'm like, something just blocked out the window. I'm like, completely. I'm like, it just went black. And that was that. Didn't hear any more noises or sounds, and the cats, calmed down. And Mike said it was probably an owl. That was his rational, an owl.
Who?
We do know that there
fell for
are
it.
large owls
Yes.
out there. I'm trying to debunk immediately. Okay, maybe there was an owl sitting on the roof. We couldn't hear it, but they could hear the claws hanging onto the shingles or whatever. Maybe they could hear that. Maybe they could hear it low. We can't hear it.
Right.
Okay. And then it decided to fly away. And it swooped down and blocked the street light. But what was the flash of light
I don't
just
know.
a few seconds prior?
You remind me the flash of light thing. When I had gotten up the following morning, it was 2:30 when I got up. I walked downstairs in the dark. I just put my iPad on. I kind of use it as a light to walk downstairs, turn on the light, do what I have to do, shoes on, go to walk out. Now, again, everything's dark. Right before I walk out, there was a flash of light, and it was in the house, as if somebody, took a picture.
Wow.
And that was it. And I looked, all right, what the hell was that? This was, again, from the night that I'd seen the figure walking. So I don't know.
Well, and we live in a cul-de-sac, which is basically in the middle of a cornfield. We don't have any roads behind us anywhere to where a car, not even in our cul-de-sac, but on the next street over, it happened to make a U-turn and the lights flashed. We don't have that. There's no way that there's any light coming from anywhere. And in our cul-de-sac, everybody goes to bed at like 7 o'clock.
Way before
early.
we do. Yeah.
Very early.
Yeah.
We're the only ones up. We're up to like at least 1 every night. So, and we know what's going on out there. We know everything is going on outside. There was nothing. There was no cars. It was quiet. So I don't know what the flashlight could be.
No.
But
I don't know.
you tell that story. You tell your story, Vinny. I see a similarity. And you know what it is? When we did that investigation of Village Graphics, whatever that voice was that told us that they were younger than 10 years old, that little girl came back with us. And she's attached herself to both of you at different times.
Well, she better have a fast car to travel from my place to your place.
It's ghost teleportation. Look for that on beforeitsnews.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to look it up?
Look it up. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, yours.
It just really creeped me out. Yeah. Can I ask you, I don't know, do you know the history of the property that you live at currently?
There's very little history. It used to be a field,
That was it. There was nothing else there.
A farm. I heard secondhand that when they dug to do the construction for the neighborhood, they did find some Native American artifacts and things like that. I don't know if they found any bodies or
Gotcha.
what. But that's it.
Not
Never any old farmhouses with axe murders or anything.
No.
And it's funny because that was the same thing that you guys found out about this property.
Yeah.
That it was basically a
It
field.
used to be farm, yeah.
And that was it. So, just weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
So our official take on this, the official Haunt Squad word, we don't know.
We don't know. No.
Yeah, just weird.
Yeah. So, speaking of stories, I have a story. I talk frequently on this podcast about magazines that I loved reading when I was a kid. Comic magazines, Eerie, Creepy, Vampirella. They were published by Warren Publishing Company. I was reading one the other night. I have it right here with me. Creepy number 81 with this incredible Ken Kelly cover. Oh my God. And there's like there's a black demon and a white demon, and they're fighting in the middle of the sky, and there's some biplanes and some Germans and smoke. Anyhow, this book is from 1976. Now, Creepy magazine was first published in 1964. It was selling really well. So they said, hey, we're on to something. Let's do another one, and we'll call it Eerie. So in 1965, they were getting ready to go into publication. They found out that there was another company with a far inferior product getting ready to put out a magazine called Eerie. So they said, oh, crap, we need to jump on this and, basically trademark the name so that we own it. So they put together what in the business we sometimes call an ash can, which is just sort of, it's like 8.5 by 11 paper, several sheets, folded in half, stapled, boom. It's like a mini comic sort of thing, right? They threw together a bunch of these with the name Eerie on it, and they distributed them in New York City. Just went out and sold them just so that they could say, yes, it's on the market. We own the name. Although the magazine itself was not ready to be published, they wanted to claim, put the claim on the name.
Preemptive strike.
So that was Eerie #1. And I always wondered growing up, looking at the back issues, order forms in the back of the books, why you could order Creepy #1 through, whatever it was. But Eerie was only from #2 on up. They didn't have #1 because Eerie #1 was actually that little ash can that they put out. There was no actual Eerie #1. Of course, that's an incredible rarity because they only sold, a couple hundred in New York City. Now, the other night, I'm reading Creepy #81, and I look at this big editorial on the inside front cover. Warren Publishing Company themselves took the whole inside front cover, $500 reward. Now, remember, this is 1976. $500 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for the printing and selling of counterfeit copies of Eerie #1. Okay, so all the way back in 76, people were putting out bootleg comics, just like they do now. There's like rampant stealing of our material because of illegal downloads and scanning and all of that stuff. So, even back 76, this was a problem. They were only offering $500, but at that time, $500 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it does say it has recently come to our attention that this issue has been counterfeited and sold to unsuspecting collectors and fans for considerable sums of money. Those responsible for this deliberate act, as well as the printer who produced it, are liable for criminal action.
Really?
Warren Publishing intends to vigorously pursue its legal rights in this matter and will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. And I say, hell yeah.
Testify.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap going on right now, and we've talked about it before with all the illegal art prints and all of that stuff that's being sold at conventions, and people are saying, well, if DC and Marvel cared, they would, blah, blah, blah. It's wrong. It is illegal. And God damn it, I am... Warren Publishing, they're the best. They said, you do not mess with us. You're going to bootleg our stuff, we are going at you. I'm not sure if this was ever resolved and if they ever did catch anyone. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they put it out there is really impressive. Kudos to them for doing it.
That's
and I
awesome.
wish more publishers would do that now. It would send a very stern message about creator rights and ownership. So, something else that came to my attention recently. I saw some T-shirts for sale on Facebook. Here's an example of what goes on.
Yeah.
I saw people posting links. What a freaking awesome T-shirt! It's Godzilla, and he's doing something silly and whatever, and it's cool. Go to our site and buy the shirt. Totally bootleg, and they're advertising it on Facebook to thousands and thousands. It's not like something that's being hidden. Right out completely in the open. In fact, they're advertising the fact that they are selling illegal merchandise. And this was coming from a Facebook page. I don't want to say the name of it, but basically the page is for people who love Godzilla. And I think it was our friend Andy Hay who said, yeah, isn't that ironic? You love Godzilla so much that you're going to support and produce illegal merchandise.
Wow.
Fuckers. Yeah, I said it. I said it. And I don't care.
You're going to have to put this on explicit now. See,
I don't care.
Way to go.
Thanks, Mike. Damn it.
It's got to end
Gotcha.
somewhere.
Did anybody, let me ask you, did you message these people? Just say, what are you doing? Or has anybody messaged them?
What's the point? Because people who are doing it don't care. And I don't represent Toho, so I can say whatever I want, It's Toho that needs to come after
Well,
me.
what if Toho got an anonymous notification about that? Do you think the company's big enough for
How do
Toho
you
to
even go
after?
about that? You know, like who do you contact? Where do you?
I'm sure they have like a general email or something. I
Probably.
don't know, and I don't know if they would ever
But,
get
you know,
to it.
but
But
then-
yeah, you
yeah.
can notify them.
Yeah.
But then, you know, are they big enough for Toho to go after? I mean, does Toho
That's
really
well.
wanna
See,
deal
that's the
with it?
thing
Yeah.
too.
Do they actually care? Do they want to put out?
Do
the
they
effort?
actually even sell any T-shirts?
Mm-hmm.
Have no idea. They could have maybe sold 2 because
Mm-hmm.
because they're really not officially licensed and all that.
Can it be looked at this way by the company as well? Well, if the company's is the company even producing merchandise themselves? If they're not, it's still advertisement for the company's main character. So now, do we look at it that way?
I hate that. If people throw that out there.
Mhm.
Oh, we're advertising for you. A bunch of bullshit. It's
No,
not
I'm saying the
advertising.
company. If the company's accepting,
I don't
that.
think any company
Mhm.
accepts that. I don't think
Right.
any company says, "Oh yeah, go ahead and illegally produce our
They don't
stuff
need
because
it.
it's free advertising." Yeah, exactly, Natalie. Yeah, they don't need it.
Mhm.
They're reaching people through Super Bowl ads and stuff, And this isn't even a company, quote unquote. Get your T-shirt here. Follow the link. It's one of those like bullshit Redbubble sites where it's just totally set up for pirating.
Gotcha.
It's not even a company. It's just some unnamed person who has an account name that doesn't even name who they are, what their phone number is, what their address is. It's just kind of like Print Ninja Guy 38. I'm angry.
I know.
I'm angry.
Yeah, you're
You
turning
don't-
red. You gotta
Don't
be
mess
careful.
with Godzilla, man.
No, you don't.
So let's get off of that and on to something fun.
Yeah, I want Happy Mike back.
You know what's really fun?
What?
And now, our main topic.
What's our main topic today, Mike?
Movies with masks.
Oh, movies with
This was
masks.
one of your suggestions.
I know,
Vinny.
and you know what?
What?
I don't have many.
Wait a minute.
What are you doing, Vinny?
You know what?
Wait
Listen,
a minute.
Here's what I'm really doing. I'm tapping you guys for information, so that I know what to watch.
Well, we've got info.
Yeah,
We've got
I
some
got a
cool
couple.
ones.
I got a
Few,
couple,
sure.
but I think you guys have already gotten it, and I think it's really, it's kind of common, the ones that I have. But I really want to. I'll be honest.
It's stuff we like, so it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter if it's common or not.
Natalie's are great, but Mike's, yours are so out there.
Stupid. Yeah, I try to.
Yeah,
I could do more.
contemporary.
That's the word.
Oh,
I
I
could.
think mine are a bit more obscure
Yours are always
to a certain point.
They tend to be a lot of foreign
yeah.
cinema, foreign to us here in the U.S. But mine are usually late 60s, early
Yeah.
70s,
Yeah.
like really kind of bizarro grindhouse kind of stuff. And yours are the more mainstream, kind of
Exactly.
like 80s. But, like I said, it doesn't matter.
No, we
We're
all
just-
bring a different flavor. It's
Yeah.
what we like.
Yeah, sure.
I like the flavor. So who wants to go first?
I think Vinny should go first.
I should go
Because,
first. Should I just
you
list all
suggested it.
mine like
No.
one shot? Okay.
No.
No.
Let's do the round robin. Is that round robin?
Round
Is it?
robin.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I have a bunch of them, but I'm going to throw out some common ones, or I'm going to throw out the common ones that I know of. Halloween.
Oh, well,
you know,
sure.
Mike
Sure.
Myers.
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, baby.
I was waiting.
Did I say it wrong?
Mike Myers. That's the dude from Austin Powers.
Well, wasn't his name
Michael Audrey Myers.
The Halloween fans would
They would kill me,
they'd
really?
come at you. Yeah.
Oh no! Should I redo that?
No.
We want Vinny to get killed.
No, I just had to call you on it.
It's funny.
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Cool.
Of course. That, you know what? That's the first one I thought of.
Of course, it's the
was
first one I
Halloween.
thought of.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What about you? Oh, best for last. Fine. Oh, you're so cool. No, I'll go. Okay. So, just like Vinny, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'll
Sure.
give another honorable mention to Popcorn. Popcorn.
Never saw it.
Okay. Well, it's not the greatest. It's cheesy. Have you, Vinny?
No.
Okay. Popcorn. One I want to see is called Curtains. 1983. I used to see it constantly in the videotape store on VHS, and I never rented it.
You showed us the cover of it, and I had never seen
No.
it.
Okay. But someone who wears the killer wears a creepy old grandma mask with this crazy strawish hair.
We're going to have to look that one up.
I am. Look it up.
Look it up.
So my number 3 is The Prowler. Ooh.
Yep.
You saw it with me.
I saw it with you. I had never seen it until, last year?
Yeah. So it came out in 1981, directed by Joseph Zito. And the story goes, a woman named Rosemary, she breaks up with her boyfriend by letter while he's serving in the army. So in 1945, in the town of Avalon Bay, there's a graduation dance, and Rosemary and her new beau are killed with a pitchfork by someone wearing a combat uniform.
Mm-hmm.
So for 35 years, there have been no graduation dances, parties.
Yeah.
But that 35th year, they decided to bring them back. They're going to have a graduation class party.
Oh, no.
That's not a good idea.
And apparently, someone has a problem with that because a prowler's going around targeting college kids, and they're getting gruesomely murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's a cool slasher flick with some really cool effects by Tom Savini.
Ooh.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
I forgot that part.
The killer is wearing a black mask, helmet, and World War II Army fatigues. He has, a bunch of weapons. A bayonet, a pitchfork.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
some really cool stuff. And again, like I said, it's a really cool slasher flick, but the story itself isn't all that great. It's, not very complex. And I thought...
let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
How many of the movies that we watch have great stories?
I thought the killer... I kind of saw the killer right away, although it didn't make much sense, but I thought, okay, that's who it's going to be. And it was the person I thought it was. And again, it didn't make much sense because what was their motive? Because you're thinking, okay, is it... At first you're thinking, it's the guy from back then, but it couldn't be him. It really couldn't be him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you know. If you don't want to know who the killer is...
Turn off your radio.
Turn off your radio for 5 seconds. It was the sheriff.
What? He's supposed to be serving and protecting.
It made no sense whatsoever. Why?
But real life doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So that was it. I mean, I recommend it for just some of the gore and the cool kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my first one is a really cool little movie from 1961, Mr. Sardonicus, produced and directed by William Castle. If you guys don't know who William Castle is, he was like the consummate showman. He was like the Carnival Barker of the the movie industry. Mm-hmm. Every movie he did had some kind of gimmick involving the audience. Like with the Tingler, he had the thing with the electro vibration shocks rigged up to the seats. Mm-hmm. The thing he did with Mr. Sardonicus was there was a voting system where people could vote at the end of the movie. The movie would stop. William Castle came on and said, "Hey, okay, so we've reached the end, but do we want it to be the end, or do we want to see the villain receive more punishment?" So everybody had these little, like a card with a thumbs up, and it was printed on both sides. So, you just either hold it up, thumbs up or thumbs down, and he's on the screen pretending, okay, now hold up your votes, and he's pretending to count the votes. Okay, well, I guess you want more punishment. Of course, there was only one ending to the movie.
That's cool.
But Mr. Sardonicus was about a rich baron who had this crazy physical affliction, and he needed the help of a very gifted surgeon to come help him with this problem he had. The surgeon was once involved with Mr. Sardonicus's wife, Maud. So they had that going on. She contacted the surgeon and said, "Hey, look, you got to come and help my husband." And he said, "Well, I'm a doctor, no problem." So he goes to the castle, and the Baron wears this mask, which had no features at all. It was just like a white mask with the eyes cut out. So that's kind of creepy, and he's like, "Hello, welcome to my castle," and blah, 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 but you can't see the lips move and all that stuff. It's like, okay, what's under that mask? So when he removes the mask, his mouth is horribly disfigured to where there was a problem with the muscles, to where all of his lips and everything are pulled way back so you can see all of his teeth, and there's kind of like a real skeletal lower face. Mm-hmm. How that happened was his father had bought a lottery ticket, kind of forgot he had it, stuck it in his vest pocket. Father suddenly died. They buried him. And, end of story. Well, they hold the lottery, and there's no winner. And Mr. Sardonicus realizes, oh my God, the winning ticket was in the vest that we buried my father in.
Oh.
So he goes to dig him up to get the lottery ticket. And when he sees his horrible decomposing face, it just freaks him out. And that's what causes this malformation of his face. You know, he's just like, nah, and it froze, you know. Of course, it was a lot more extreme than anything that would actually really happen. So the movie is about this doctor's attempts to heal him, and nothing is working. And meanwhile, he's torturing his wife, saying, if you don't heal me, I'm going to keep torturing her and doing horrible things to her and the maid and everybody else, you know, coercing him into finding a cure. So what this doctor, Sir Robert, his name was, he comes up with a plan. I don't know if I should, well, maybe I shouldn't reveal. Well, I don't know. We'll see how far it goes. He comes up with a plan. What he's going to do is he's going to inject a special serum into him that's like some plant derivative, something like that, and lock him in a room with the corpse of his father.
Oh my God.
The corpse they dug it up, put it in the room. He's going to inject him, and he's thinking that, you know, a combination of psychological factors and this actual serum that he puts in, it might relax his features and solve the problem. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. And just when you think the movie is over, William Castle comes on and says, you know what? Guess what? It's not over. You want to see more? Put that thumbs up card up in the air, you know? So, it's a cool movie with a great, cool little twist at the end. So, Mr. Sardonicus, 1961. Check it out.
Awesome.
It was good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm next.
Yes.
Mine, again, very generic. Everybody's seen it. Friday the 13th.
Oh, sure.
The full series, but mainly the first one. I think the first one, didn't he wear just a bag or something like that, or a rag on his face?
That was number 2.
That was number 2. Okay, see, I get them all mixed up.
There was no mask in number 1.
There was.
Remember?
No?
In fact,
Mamacita.
yeah, Jason wasn't the killer in number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
They had so many of them, I just blend together after a while. But yeah, Friday the 13th, mask movies.
Yep.
You know, hockey masks.
Sure.
You've seen them all.
Yep.
Go and get them.
Yep.
All right. I'm next. So my number 2 is Eyes Without a Face. It's a 1960 film, French and Italian, but it was done in the French language. It's an adaptation of Jean Redon, his novel.
No, that was directed by Billy Idol, right?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Okay. And it was directed by Georges Franju.
Ah.
So basically, you have a Parisian plastic surgeon who feels overwhelming guilt for destroying his daughter's face in a car accident. He does these lectures on a procedure called heterografting, in which live tissue is transferred from one person to another while they're both alive. So, because of his daughter's disfigurement, he goes into seclusion with his daughter and his assistant/girlfriend and performs these procedures on various animals and other women brought to him by his assistant in order to perfect it.
Ethical.
So, yeah, so very. So he's totally determined to fix his daughter's face. And in the meantime, his daughter wears a mask over her face. And it's kind of like what, you described. It's this white face with only the eyes cut open.
Right.
But it does have like a cute little nose and a cute little mouth at least. So it's not crazy, creepy, scary, but it's like mannequin-ish.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, and only the eyes. You can only see her eyes.
Wow.
So in the meantime, like I said, his daughter wears a mask over her face, and she has no clue what her father is doing. And although she's depressed about her disfigurement, she's even more saddened when she does find out what her father is doing. She feels really bad for his victims.
Oh, yeah.
The mask is creepy. There's actually some squeamish parts. Squeamish parts when he's performing surgeries. There's, blood. It's like showing the incisions being made.
Oh.
And there's one part where someone comes to the door and he leaves open a lady's face with like the skin flayed. And he just leaves it that way. And it's just like, how unsanitary is that?
Wow.
Like, oh my God.
Wait.
So, but, I'm gonna leave it at that. You should be able to find it on video, as an import. If you can't, the full version is on YouTube. So, Eyes Without a Face.
Okay, I've got one. It's a mask movie. But you know what? It's not a mask movie.
What?
I was racking my brain trying to think of things that were outside the beaten track. And of course I came up with Phantom of the Paradise, which I freaking love that movie, but I've talked about it before, so I didn't want to bring that one back again. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? And suddenly it popped into my head. We're talking about characters whose faces are concealed.
Mm-hmm.
The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
1933, Universal, the classic, based on the novel by H.G. Wells. James Whale directed it. Claude Rains played Jack Griffith, the scientist who is, the Invisible Man, the chemist. He was crazy. He was absolutely crazy. And I mean crazy in a good way. His performance was so eccentric and overly theatrical, just like, "Ha-ha, you will never capture me!" It was crazy. The effects were really, really cool, too, for the time. Like, oh, look, there's a bicycle driving down the street by itself, and, things flying around the rooms, and all the string work that they did. And the scenes where you can see him unwrapping the gauze from his head, and oh, he's all eaten away. I love that guy. The way they did that, it's kind of like early green screen. I read that they put Claude Rains in a black velvet suit, put him against a black velvet background, and of course they had the clothes on him and the bandage wrappings, and then they just filmed him taking the wrappings off, so everything was just black,
Oh, okay.
Now, interesting little trivia tidbit about this. The first choice to play Jack Griffith was Boris Karloff.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. I just looked it up. I just learned this. The reason he did not play him, Carl Laemmle Jr., who was the founder of Universal Pictures, he was messing around with Karloff and cutting his salary. I mean, he was a contracted performer with Universal, but he was like messing with him, going, "Yeah, guess what? The next movie you make, I'm paying you half as much." So Karloff was like, "Screw it, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be in this movie. Find somebody else."
Good for Karloff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a really cool movie. Hey, you know what? Did you ever see the movie? Did you ever see the movie Amazon Women on the Moon?
No.
I
Can't say I
had
have.
to turn it off.
It's a comedy, and it got a whole bunch of... I can't even... What do I describe it as? It's got a whole bunch of different little things all stuck together, like little comedy bits, and they had a thing called The Son of the Invisible Man with Ed Begley Jr. as the Invisible Man, and it was shot in black and white. It was beautiful. It looked just like the original movie, and the whole point was that the Invisible Man was actually not invisible, and he's the only one that didn't know he wasn't invisible, so there, people are sitting around at the pub, and they're having a good time, and Ed Begley Jr. walks in, and he's naked. And everybody's like looking at, rolling their eyes like, oh, here he comes again. And he's walking up to people and like picking up their beer and holding it up. Ooh, and they're being, very tolerant. And they're like, "Oh, now how did that happen?" It's very funny. You know what? You can probably find that segment on YouTube. Just look up Son of the Invisible Man.
I'm going to have to do that.
Amazon Women on the Moon.
Okay.
Anyhow, all right. So, who's next?
Vinny.
My last one would be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Either version. Creepy Mask itself really disgusted me.
Good old Leatherface.
Oh, God. I do have an honorable mention, though.
What?
That would be Silence of the Lambs. It's not quite the horror movie.
Oh, the Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter coming out with that mask.
Yeah.
Yep. That creeped me out.
My number one is You're Next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
We saw that at the movies.
Yeah, we
At
did.
the theater. That's like pretty much. Everybody knows I don't like movie theaters and stuff, but something like that I had to go see it. So that came out in 2011 at the Toronto International Film Festival, and then we got it in the U.S. in 2013. All right, so you have a family that's getting together for a reunion in Missouri, and one of the family members, Crispin, brings his girlfriend along, whose name is Erin. The killing ensues quickly, as two of the reunion goers are shot with crossbows during dinner. someone in a fox mask appears, kills a family member. Then Aaron encounters someone in a tiger mask. Then someone appears in a lamb mask. So you have fox, a tiger, and a lamb. And they're pretty awesome, I gotta say. Those are some pretty cool killers.
Yeah.
It's creepy, and the killers are pretty proficient at using their weapons.
Yes.
They have some really cool weapons. One of the sisters during the dinner goes, crazy. I'm gonna run out the door, and she runs out, and there's one of those razor-thin wires, and just boop, no more of her.
Yeah.
So basically family members are getting picked off one by one, and you find out that one of the sons actually hired the killers because he wants his family's inheritance. So he's going to knock everybody off.
It was a pretty basic story.
Yeah.
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 But I thought it was executed really well.
It was, yeah. I thought that, stingy, bratty asshole kid wanting his inheritance, So you also find out, this is kind of the cool twist, that Erin spent a good amount of time growing up on a survivalist compound. So she's a badass. She knows how to take care of herself.
Yep.
And yeah, she kicks all kind of ass. She survived. She's the final girl. And again, I thought it was smart. It had some, fun kills, and the masks were totally awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool movie.
Bing!
That's it?
You're next, yes.
Okay.
You're next.
You're next. All right, well, my last one. Freaking love this movie. This is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I've been waiting a long time to talk about this on this damn show. And it hasn't really fit into any of the categories that we've talked about so far. 1971. The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Love it. And love it some more. Saw this thing when I was a kid. The first one I saw was the sequel, Dr. Phibes Rises Again, and I didn't see the first one until years later. But the first movie, oh my God, directed by Robert Fest. Vincent Price plays Dr. Phibes. And, of course, our category here is masks, right? Well, when you see Vincent Price in the movie, you say, where's the mask? I don't get it. What's the deal, Mike? What the hell are you talking about? So here's what happened. Vincent Price's wife, Victoria, she was in an accident. Taken to the hospital, she had to undergo surgery, like emergency surgery. Vincent Price, who plays Dr. Phibes, he's an expert in theology. He's an expert in music. He's an acclaimed concert organist. He's like an expert in everything. He's rushing to the hospital because his wife's going to undergo surgery. He has a car accident. And the car goes off the road and blows up and it's on fire, and they assume that he died. She dies on the operating table. Well, several years later, the surgical team who worked on his wife, they begin dying one by one, very bizarre kind of ways. So what we find out is that Dr. Phibes did not die in that accident. And he's back holding the surgical team responsible for the death of his wife. So here's where the mask comes in. Vincent Price's face is the mask. So when he takes that off, he's like I said, he's an expert in everything. Apparently he's an expert in cosmetics too, because he's completely restructured his face. I know, fake nose, fake wig, fake ears, fake everything. Takes it all off, and his face is all burned away, and it's like skeletal,
Wow.
Really, really cool movie. I can't even express how unbelievably stylish the production was. This was just like a little throwaway kind of quick American International Pictures, here's a horror thing. But the sets and the costumes, the whole thing, Art Deco. The entire thing was Art Deco. Phibes' mansion was ridiculous. Like, he had a ballroom in his basement, like this full-size ballroom with the Dr. Phibes Clockwork Wizards, which were these like wind-up, this whole band, who were all mannequins. I turn the crank and they all start playing this incredible music. And then he's dancing with his assistant, Volnavia. We don't even know where she came from or who she was, but she was pretty and had incredible clothing, like 1930s style clothing. And they would dance and do things together for no reason at all. She would play the violin while he's killing somebody over there. And it was, I don't know, it was like dreamlike and bizarre, but such vivid colors and gorgeous sets, and the kills were all very, very inventive. Each one of the murders that he committed were all based on the 10 plagues of Egypt. Like the plague of frogs. Well, he goes to a masquerade ball, and he gives a guy this big frog mask, and everyone has masks on, so nobody knows it's Fibes. He's like, here, have this mask. And like, oh, thank you very much. And everybody's drinking. He puts the mask on. There's a little crank in the back, a little mechanism that slowly makes this mask contract, and it's getting smaller and smaller and crushing the guy's head. Really cool stuff. The plague of hail, he rigged up this machine in a guy's car. It was like this ice blowing machine. So the guy's in the back seat, the thing pops on, and ice and snow just shoot out, encases the guy in ice and just tears all the skin off his face. I mean, it's just awesome. The Locust, that was a really cool one. Mm-hmm. There's one of the nurses who was on the surgical team. They're like, okay, somebody's up to something. They're killing all you guys off. We know that you're next. So they take the nurse and they put her in a hospital in a nice secure room, lock her up. No one's going to get to her now.
Right.
Oh, Fibes, of course. No explanation. He's able to get in the hospital. He's disguised as somebody else or something. I think as an orderly. Mm-hmm. He goes to the room up above her. This is how ridiculous this movie is. She's laying in the bed sleeping, and she had a sedative of some sort to keep her asleep. Now, in the room above, he doesn't just drill a hole in the floor so that he can see her below. He lays out this mat first that has the outline of a woman's body on it, with like a little X on the forehead. He lays it out on the floor nice and neat, and then he gets out his drill and starts drilling. You know, it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But it didn't matter. It was like watching him go about these crimes. It was just fascinating. So what he does is drill a hole in the floor, and he had taken a whole bunch of vegetables, like, I don't know, they look like Brussels sprouts or something, boiled them all up, and turned them into this green liquid, like extracted all of the liquid from them.
Yeah.
Puts a tube through the hole in the floor, pours all this green stuff down onto the nurse below. She's knocked out. She's asleep. So she's got all this green vegetable-y goo all over her. Then he puts another tube in the hole, connected to a tank full of locusts, grasshoppers. And they all march through the tube, and they all drop down onto her and eat her face off because they're eating the... Dr. Fibes, man. He was nuts. It was one of my favorite movies of all time. Now, his wife, Victoria, we see her. He's got her body. She's dead, but he is a genius. He's got her in this like glass coffin that, she's like cryogenically sealed in there or something. She was played by Caroline Munro, who was in Dracula AD 1972, Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. She was in Maniac. Remember that one? Golden Voyage of Sinbad. And she was also in a movie called Star Crash that came out after Star Wars. And, it was like a Star Wars kind of rip-off thing. Mm-hmm. She was the big star. You know who else was in that? Marjoe Gortner. I forgot about that. The dude I was talking about that was the child evangelist. Mm-hmm. I have to look up Star Crash because I don't remember it.
Boy.
Marjoe Gortner was a cool dude. But great movie. Incredible. Here's the trivia part. The first choice for Dr. Fibes was Peter Cushing. But he couldn't play the role because that's when his wife Helen was ill.
Yeah.
So he had to turn down the role. But Vincent Price just killed it, man.
You know those Clockwork Wizards?
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Like modern day Showbiz Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese, those mannequins. Yeah. It was awful. It was scary. I didn't like it. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't like it.
I wasn't sure if they were real people or not. And they weren't. They weren't.
But you're right. The sets, the colors, it was extravagant. It was
the
beautiful.
The music was really good too.
Yeah.
And Fibes playing the organ. Oh, brother.
Yeah.
It was just like, he had on the black cape, and he's slouched over the big, huge organ, and he's with the big, dramatic swings of his arms as he's playing oh my God.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous, but it was fantastic.
It was.
And the sequel was just as good. Dr. Fibes Rises Again. That was really, really awesome.
Same actors playing the part?
Oh, yeah. Yep. One other bit, the head surgeon on the surgical team that worked on Victoria Fibes, he was played by Joseph Cotton. Now, the problem was Vincent Price's makeup when he was Fibes, it was all like a skull face, right? And, in fact, he couldn't talk. Dr. Fibes could not speak. He had to plug in a cord in the back of his neck that was attached to, like, a Victrola. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Volnavia would be right there with the big, that big flower-shaped speaker. And she would just be standing there, and then he could Navy, he could speak through this thing, right? So when they're on set, Vincent Price wasn't actually saying his lines because he couldn't move his mouth. And Joseph Cotton, who played Dr. Vesalius, he was having a hard time. He was like, this is freaking ridiculous as hell. I don't know what my cues are. You say that. And now I'm going to say, oh yeah, Fives. And then Fives has a line, but Vincent Price isn't speaking, so he's not sure how long to wait before he gives his next line.
Mm-hmm.
So they started having a guy on the side reading, I'm reading his lines, Vincent Price's lines. And Vincent Price was just, from what I hear, he was a kook. He was making all kinds of faces at Joseph Cotton while he's trying to deliver his serious lines. He's like, I can't talk, And Joseph Cotton was like, well, that's not fair because you can just do your lines in post-production. You can just sit there with a script and just read them off. I have to memorize all these. And Vincent Price told him, he's like, yeah, well, that's what you think. I know all my lines. I have them all memorized. I memorize mine, yours, everybody else in the movie. And that's one of Vincent Price's strong points that they said he was incredible. He remembered every line of the script. Not just his lines, but everyone else's too.
Wow.
So, but yeah, he was a joker.
The guy's name is Vincent.
Jokers. There's a lot of them.
So there you go.
Cool.
That's my last one.
Hey, can I throw out some ones that I thought maybe
Sure.
if you guys get a chance to watch them, let me know if they're good or not.
Oh, okay. We're the guinea pigs.
Yeah, you guys are pretty good with this. The Purge.
Have you seen
not
that?
seen it.
I
no.
haven't seen that
Nope.
either. Yeah.
And the other one, The Strangers.
I have seen it.
You've seen that.
Yeah. I liked it. I mean, I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a waste of time or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And The Purge does look cool. I do want to see that. I just haven't had time.
They're making another one, right?
They had
Or
a
they
part.
did.
They had a part 2. I think there's a third one.
Is it really? Yeah. After number 1, I think you should stop.
Me too.
Question everything.
All right. Our question is from Theodore Ward from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Have you read Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose? And if so, who is your favorite character?
Mm-hmm. Now, Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose is a comic book series. It's, I think it's up to like issue 100 or something. I mean,
Wow.
They have a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's written and drawn by Jim Ballant, who a lot of people know from his work they did on Catwoman for DC. He's been doing this book for a long time. And his wife, Holly Golightly. And if you guys have seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, her name is really legitimately Holly Golightly. She does production work, lettering, coloring. They're a team, kind of like we're a team.
Yes.
Same kind of deal.
Yeah.
To answer the question, I don't read the book.
Me neither.
And you know why? Because we don't read anything.
Don't have time.
Yeah,
It's
we
sad.
just don't. Isn't that ridiculous? How the heck is that? We're in a comic business, and we don't read comics. It's crazy. Do you read anything?
I've read The Walking Dead.
Currently, or have you?
I've stopped.
Yeah.
I just have no time, honestly.
And like Natalie said, one is time. I just don't have the time. We don't even have time to go to the damn comic book store. You know?
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's sad.
And, another aspect too, there's just nothing out there that appeals to me. I just don't see anything. I've tried a few books I saw them, I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what I would love to read. And I've read it, I'm like, oh boy, execution is just not there. The talent is, they're trying, but it's just not what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, like for me from the beginning, I read The Walking Dead and Rachel Rising. And
both of which are great books.
Yeah, I have got to be at least a year and a half behind. At least a year and a half, maybe 2 years behind. And Rachel Rising is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Issue 42. That's it. But that's okay, because Terry Moore does great stuff. He's actually one of my favorite writers.
Mm-hmm.
He's done Strangers in Paradise, Echo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably forgetting something. I'm terrible. But yeah, Rachel Rising, it's great. And I hope that it's still in production to become either a movie or a show. I forgot where it was going. Remember there were talks
I
of that a
forgot
while
about
ago.
that.
Me
That's
too.
right, yeah.
Me too. So, yeah.
I think the last issue I read was maybe around 12 or 13 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm way behind.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was great. Great book.
Good horror.
And Walking Dead, I only read the first 12 issues, something like that. You have all the trade paperback collections. I'm like, this is going to be fantastic.
Well,
I'm
for
going to
the
do so
first
much reading.
2, I have the comics. I have the
Yeah.
actual,
Oh,
so.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
I'm the real deal, man.
I don't have room for comics. I just had them on my pad, my tablet.
Yeah.
But I was up to like number 61 or 62.
Oh,
so
really?
I was right in the middle.
I have up to like issues, I believe, oh my God, I think like 115, 116,
wow.
something like that. And I don't know. I haven't looked at them in so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, nothing about the story.
No.
I didn't lose interest.
No.
Put it that way. Like with Rachel Rising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I couldn't wait to see what happened next. But for whatever reason.
Life.
Yeah, exactly.
ran
I also
out of
read
time.
novels. I mean, I'm into like the whole Fever series with Karen Marie Moning.
Mm-hmm.
I have the book, was it Burned? Or is it, I can't even remember.
It's been a
and
while.
the new one has come out.
Oh.
Feverborn, I think. And I haven't even read the last one. I'm so behind.
Wow.
It's also time investment too. If you're going to invest the time in a comic, you really want to,
I don't want to skim through it.
No, it's just tough. You guys are a creative team, and you're in the middle of creating, and it's just hard for you guys to get time to actually read a comic book.
Speaking of skimming, it reminds me of my reading habits back in the 80s and 90s. In the 70s when I first started reading, I remembered everything. Every panel in that book, just memorized it. And I started reading too much. I started reading everything that Marvel put out. And after a while, I realized I was reading every issue,
but you weren't.
But it was like
digesting
skimming.
it.
Yeah, nothing was retained. I was doing it just out of the simple. Well, I have to keep going. I can't. Boy, I hate this story, but I have to keep. But there were certain books though that I vividly remember. Those were the ones I really concentrated on. I used to have a stack every week, every Wednesday when I came back from the comic shop. I had a stack. I put them in order, the ones I really wanted to read at the bottom, and I read all the crap stuff first. I'm like, why am I buying this stuff?
Yeah.
Well, I have to keep up my collection because I got number 1 and I got to get them all. Like it was Pokemon or something. Jeez. Yep, so we're breaking down.
All right. Well, that's it for the show, guys.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Another fun one. I'm going to have to think of some more topics for us to do.
I know.
And
masks.
No, we did that one. You should come up with some topics. Oh, wait. That's right. At the beginning, you said you come up with topics for us.
Yeah.
To give. Okay. We have to think like Vinny.
Don't do that.
No.
Stay spooky.
Ever see a shirt make a phone call?
Ooh, pretty scary, huh?
Ooh.
Wait till you see this. No, Griffin, you don't have to go all the way. Yes. Just listen for the sound of my voice. And you'll know where I am at all times. Come on, let's have some laughs. Griffin! Being invisible is the best.